Okay guys, welcome back to some more Suburban action here on Old Car Guy. Today we are dealing with a little bit of tailgate hate, so stay tuned. Now in the last video, and I'm going to leave a link right up here in the corner for you guys to go back and watch if you missed it, we patched in a piece of patch panel here on the passenger side rocker panel. Now all these patch panels that we're using in these series of videos has been generously donated by Auto Metal Direct, and I'll leave a link down in the description box down below for them because they are huge on square body stuff, but they do have a lot more, and they helped me get this project started. So today one of the things that we've got to do is we've got to get the tailgate off the truck, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. One hinge, well, it's already kind of disconnected. Let's get underneath and take a look. This cross member here is what is rotten. It's a common place to rot. As you can see, the hinge for the tailgate comes out and 4 bolts bolt to that cross member. But over here, yeah, this is all gone. We've got some patching to do up here on this inner part of the fender panel. So our job in this video is going to be getting the tailgate off. This side's already done, and I believe hopefully it'll just be 4 bolts on the other side. But this panel has got to come out without destroying what's left of the floor. So as we kind of get going through here, you're going to be learning along with me because I've never done this before. So first thing we got to do is we've got to figure out where all the power supply is to the tailgate for that power window. Get all that unplugged, get those 4 bolts out, and then I'll get some help. We'll lift this tailgate off of here. That's not going to be the biggest issue here. The biggest issue is going to be making sure that we can get this piece out without destroying the rest of the vehicle. So let's get that done. There are a couple of plug-ins up here that plug in for your power window. So we just pull those out, and we're going to spray up in the top here to get some penetrating fluid on those nuts. Something tells me they're going to fight the whole way out, or they might even break. So we're going to crank the gun down to number 2 and see if that does it, all the while eating rust at the same time here. Try the first one. Number 2 doesn't cut it. Go to number 3. So I'm not really too concerned about the fact that those bolts broke, because we're not keeping this piece here anyway. We're just going to find a couple of more bolts to go up into the new piece. That tailgate's hanging by the straps, and we've got this tension rod that we've got to figure out. So I think this thing is almost ready to pull off. So let's go get at that. So up top here, like I said, we've got this tension rod, and I think that helps it to, come down without smashing down. And when it is down there, it might be under a little bit of pressure. I don't know. So I don't know if we should be taking those off first. Maybe we should. See if we can do that without breaking our fingers. So we've got 3 7/16. One of these is a Phillips screw. Oh my God, I hate these directional friggin' open end wrenches. Anybody else get sick and tired of flipping that over and it just doesn't work? Like, get rid of that. That's dumb. So that's there, and that's there. And I still got that little Phillips screw to get out of there. So who'd have thought that a Phillips screw in place of a proper bolt would give you a problem? It wants to fight, but it just needs some help, I guess. Okay, so we've got that little tension rod disconnected. We've got the hinges disconnected. We get the power disconnected. Now all we've got left to do is get rid of these guys, and we should be able to lift this right out of here. So those, I believe, are 3/4. So let's get those out. So now this tailgate should just be kind of sitting in my lap. Let's see if we can get it out of here. hear you. But look, I can let go of that. I don't want to fall. I don't know if it's better come up this way. This way wants to lift way off and pinch my fingers. This side kind of wants to do the same thing. I think it's just the hinge is getting caught in there, so I think we got to have a second body and maybe some blocks of wood to help hold that up there. So I'll tell you one thing, I gotta get this coat off. She's way too warm in here. All right, well, that side's out. And the wires are caught on something. Push that back in. Over here, it looks like it's caught up possibly on the head of those bolts, not getting through. So on the bottom of that hinge, the head of those bolts is still sticking down about that far, not allowing us to bring it through that hole based on the crap that's still stuck on the top. So what we've got to do is we've got to go underneath with the impact, try and spin those out to clearance that, or because we're taking that middle piece out there that it's attached to anyway, we just get in there with a hammer and a big pry bar and just start beating the snot out of it until it makes its way out. So, and with this thing just kind of balancing precariously on the back here, I don't want to take the chance and get underneath, take those out and have it fall. So I think I'm going to stand right here with a hammer and a pry bar and just pry the crap out of that in hopes that we make enough room. So I see what's going to happen here. Yeah, just as I suspected. Well, poop. Well, seeing as how we've got that latched up there, I think I'm going to go underneath with the impact to see if I can't get those bolts out. Maybe it'll just slide right out. Due to the fact that that thing is so friggin' rusty, I just put it on forward and cranked on them, and all four of them snapped right out of there. So now we should, in theory, just be able to lift that off. So how many of you guys right now are swearing at me, telling me, Jason, that tension rod has to come off completely? Because I think we're narrowing it down. This precisely is one of the reasons why they refer to this as tailgate hate. Barn doors, you don't have this issue because, well, the hinges are mounted up here and over here. You don't have all the hassles of that power window not working, nor do you have the hassles of the key switch to lower and raise the window being seized, and not to mention the fact that they're bloody heavy. Take a break. When I figure it out, I'll be right back. So after looking a little bit further, that tension rod is attached to this bracket here, or at least it's sitting on that bracket. That bracket is held in with that bolt, which is in the way because the bumper bracket here, I can't get up into it. But eventually the bumper has to come off anyway, so I'm thinking what I'm going to do is get this bumper off here, remove the brackets, which is going to give me better access to the underside of the tailgate. It might be a good time to remove the trailer hitch, which all it does is it drags on everything because it's so low. And that should give us some access to a few connections back in there as well, because that one wire is still hung up on something. So we'll get that bumper off when I get back from lunch. I've been out here for a good solid hour to this point of recording. I don't know how many minutes it's been edited down, but yeah, an hour getting to this point, trying to figure out how this friggin' tailgate comes off here. And coincidentally, I did do a quick Google search on the old YouTubes, and I really didn't come up with much either. So either this has been a hassle for a long time, no one's ever bothered to do it, but as soon as I get it figured out, I'll be sure to do a condensed version so that people can see exactly the steps that they've got to do. Anyways, I'm hungry. I'm gonna grab a bite to eat, come back out, get that bumper off, see where we go from there. Well, folks, it wasn't without struggle getting that bumper off there. Doggone. And I tried to get this trailer hitch off. They got two bolts in front of this cross member that hides the gas tank, and then there's one in behind it that you can't get. How they got it in there is beyond me. I'm guessing with one of those little coil with a wire on it, you hold it in place and whatever. But that's almost ready to come out. And I think if we get to cutting too much in here anyways, we're going to end up dropping that tank. She's just about full. So I'm going to get this little lip off of here, which looks like it's held in there with a bunch of 7/16 bolts or screws or something. And then, hopefully, we'll just be able to draw that out of there. So, got this going on in the background. And is it just me, or is it absolutely insane, the prices for some of this stuff? Look. This is US dollars. Like, we're up to 170,000 Canadian dollars. It's a nice truck. But surely if those trucks are worth that kind of money, old Dale, the truck should be worth. It's for sale. Hit me up in the DMs. Okay, so before we go too much further, I want to be able to sit down. And those aren't going to roll very well over all this rust. So we'll get that swept up. We'll get this little tail trim, whatever it is, off. And see if we can get this forsaken tailgate off this truck. Woo! That just about took my thumb off. Still got to get that bolt off that holds that bracket. That was the whole point of doing all this shit. I'm gonna get you to stay. Huh. Just there you go. Stay. All right, so we got that bracket off of the tension rod. That tension rod is loose. We got all the bumper brackets off. The bumper's off. We got the plastic trim. This thing is really not attached to anything. It's just a matter of getting those hinges kind of work their way out of the holes. We may end up having to cut this piece a little bit. Look how gross that is. Yeah. So let's set the camera up, see if we can't get this thing weaseled out of there one more time. Well, we got one side out. And I'm thinking it should just lift out of there. And that tension rod is what's holding us back, I think. Yes. Oh, I don't want to drop this. That purple wire is still stuck, so for now, we're cutting the purple wire. Don't know what it goes to. And that tension, whoa, son of a, it's that tension rod that's holding us. Oh my God. I thought I unplugged all you wires. I did, you're just caught. I am too fat and too out of shape. Now, let's see if we can get this over here. Yeah. That damn tension rod. Or whatever you want to. I don't know what it's called. Bent. Oh, it's got a little hook on it. Help! I think I'm supposed to disconnect that tension rod on the inside there. But with that glass down, there's like no way. I think I'm stuck because I can't let go of it unless I get it up in there and try and latch it again. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Stay. Well, there shouldn't be anything holding that. That tension rod is straight. Right. Oh, look, it literally just fell. Mother. All right, let's get it out. We'll set it on that. Hopefully be able to dolly it. All I had to do is swear at it. All right, well, let's get you somewhere where you're not gonna die. Oh, God dang it. This shit's heavy. 2 people would have been great. Yet here we are. Now I know y'all were screaming, Jason, there's 2 access covers on the bottom of the tailgate that I just noticed now. One there, one there. How much do you want to bet that those access points allow you to unbolt that hinge from the tailgate so that you're not frigging around with it? Should have been yelling louder. There we've got it. Tailgate's off. And the only real casualty was this purple wire. We had to cut that because I don't know where it's going under there. I'm going to tape that off in case I get the battery disconnected, don't matter. So now comes getting this trim off, getting the weather strip taken out all the way along the bottom, and taking the carpet and getting it way back inside, because if we're going to be grinding, we don't want to be catching that on fire. Although I may replace it anyway. I just don't want to replace it with the rest of the truck. As you can see, somebody has had some chain laying here which rusted down on there. It's got stains everywhere. But we've got to get this off. We've got to get the spare tire out because the spare tire well, it's damaged. All the way back through there, up into there. And that's what we've got to putter away at. And see what's involved in getting this piece taken out. There's a bolt here on the inside. There's a bolt there. But it's rusty. We're probably going to have to cut this thing the whole way out and just see how much of this. And we don't know specifically how it's attached to the floor on that lip. By the looks of things underneath, it's more than likely spot welded, which is going to mean just a lot of grinding. But I'm a pretty good grinder. Anyways, let's get this trim and weather strip off, move that carpet back, and we'll take a look. Well, We got the carpet pulled back and pleasantly surprised that this floor is in impeccable condition, with the exception of the dents that are happening in the spare tire well. I think this panel is bolted in. Looks like a bunch of half-inch bolts. One there, there's one there. This is part of your cab mount, which comes up from the frame. And then you got bolts here, another cab mount, another bolt there, another bolt there. And I'm thinking we're probably going to have to loosen or at least remove all the cab mount bolts the whole way up to get this thing lifted to pull that out. But when it comes to getting over here, we've got to cut these off anyway, so that we can patch, well, the hole there and the hole here. My big concern with this whole thing was that this lip of the rear floor was going to be welded, spot welded, of some sort to that cross member. It doesn't look like it is. In fact, when I look at the replacement panel, I am noticing threaded holes the whole way across. So I don't think there's anything. They may have some sealant, like, you know, we're seeing come through right here to, you know, seal that up. But other than that, I think we're good. I am going to get my old man in here. He's way more experienced at bodywork than I am, to help me with these corner pieces and to get this piece back in. I should have had somebody here helping me with that tailgate. Since we come back from lunch, it's now 20 after 3, and my back is this close to going out. Okay, so now that we've got all of that out of the way yesterday, had a chance to relax, it's time to get these cab mounts out of the back here. And then we're going to go back and take out all the bolts that are holding this panel in and see how much more we've got to mess around with to try and get that thing out. If we can get it out today in this video, that's going to be the bonus. So let's get these 3/4 inch body mount bolts out. Well, I will say that you missed out on a really good struggle. I did manage to get the trailer hitch undone. And the whole time, me thinking I was recording, well, clearly I wasn't. So what I ended up doing was taking a deep socket on a 3/8 drive and weaseling it into that little half cutout. And it took a little bit of finagling, and it didn't want to go on real straight. It's kind of off sideways a bit. But once I had it locked into place, I just took the impact from down below and zinged that out. And it struggled because those rusts, the bolts on the bottom were rusty. And then over here on this side, we had all this wiring to deal with. So huge pain in the butt, but it's out of the way, and that's great. That's one less thing that we've got to worry about, all that wiring. Well, we can sort through that, get it going. Eventually one day, I'd like for this Suburban to be a little bit of a tow pig or a tow rig. If we do any amount of traveling, tow a small camper behind it. But we've gotten that far, and we're stuck on the body mounts. The body mounts are seized. I got one broken bolt over here. This one over here, the bolt is seized into place. And I'm thinking that when torches were going to be required to pull the trailer hitch out, they're likely going to be warranted here. Granted, we're only a couple inches away from the gas tank. I don't like using torches, period. But maybe find somebody who's a lot less scared of using the torches that close to the gas tank than I am. Not to mention the fact that rubber cab mounts, when they get hot and exposed to flame, they melt and they stink like crazy. But it might be what we need to get these things off of there. And from what I can see, this piece here, other than those cab mounts and likely the glue or adhesive that they use to seal this up with, is the only thing that's holding that in there right now. When you come over here, you can pry up on that lip and you can tell it's loose. And same thing over in that corner. All the bolts are out of it based on what I found on the new piece. And where they aren't out, well, they're just simply rusted. They're rusted. They're gone. I mean, take a look at that. So that inner structure, we're going to have to patch up. We do have the outer structures for the panels over here as well. And I think what I'm going to do is I might drag the torches over here from the shop and get these cab mounts taken out of here on this side, at least anyway. Or maybe we'll use something different. other than torches, like this tool from today's sponsor. And the sponsor of today's video is brought to you by Vevor. Vevor has sent us out this MD50 magnetic drill press. Let's take a look. Now, if you're ever in a situation where you need a drill press and, well, you just can't pick the vehicle up and take it over to it, the Vevor MD50 magnetic drill press is something that you can take to the job site. For instance, we've got these cab mount bolts that are in the back of this old 1990 Suburban that, well, we're having trouble getting out. So what we're going to try and do is drill them. With a drill press, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to get it straight and go right down through than it is to do it by hand. So we're going to try it with the Vevor magnetic drill press. And one of the things that also makes it beneficial is the fact that it's an electromagnet, so that when you're using this thing, usually the denser the metal, the better off it is. You turn the magnet on, you can hear it kick into place. On thin sheet metal like this, it's not as strong as it would be on dense iron, but it is a bit more stable. It also comes with an assortment of core drill bits, and it comes with all the accessories that you see here. If you follow the link in the description box down below, you can get your very own MD50 Vevor magnetic drill. So if you think this would benefit you, make sure you head on over there and pick one of these up. Thanks, Vevor, for sending me this drill press. It's going to come in handy around my shop. I hope it'll come in handy around yours. Now, let's get to drilling out these cab mount bolts. Okay, so with that cab mount bolt out of the way, that freed up this whole lower section of the floor pan. One more bolt to do with the help of our Vevor magnetic drill press. So we're going to call it quits for today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. In the event that I don't come back out here tomorrow because, well, I've done something to my back, we're going to end this video right here. Be sure to check out Auto Metal Direct. Again, I'll leave a link down in the description box down below. And that way, if you guys need any of these products that we're using in these videos of the restoration or cleanup, I guess you might want to call it, of Dale Jr., my 1990 Suburban, you guys can check that stuff out as well. Also, if you want to help support the channel in more ways than just watching these videos, which you guys are doing a lot of, thank you for all the views, is hitting up my merchandise store. If you feel like you want to rep a Old Car Guy t-shirt, hat, hoodie, beer koozie, stickers, you name it, they're there. And those funds that you spend, I get a little bit of a kickback for selling that stuff, which helps with projects like this, like Dale Jr. We're going to be working on the Chrysler Cordoba here sometime in the very near future. I promised my wife I'd get that running and in drivable condition. It looks like it is now, but it's got a few little things we got to do to it. So again, there'll be videos on that, and I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And if you want more car content, make sure you're checking out the Get Out and Drive podcast. Myself and my co-host John, Custom Car Nerd Meyer, we talk a lot about cars, and well, John likes to talk. So it's mostly me wrangling him in, but having said that, we've got a great podcast. We're doing very well, and most recently, the Get Out and Drive podcast is fueled by AMD as well. They've jumped on board as our title sponsor for 2025. We hope to bring that into the future years and keep this thing going. We're having fun interviewing a lot of people, getting to go to a lot of places. We'll be possibly, tentatively, heading to C10s in the city in Atlanta again this year. We did it 2 years ago, but this year I want to take Dale Jr. So it will be a road trip. I hope you guys will stick around for that. I do end every video with stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you guys. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.